Even when I stopped checking his socials directly, I realized I was still watching him by looking for that other evidence that he was watching me. And within minutes, he was asking for more and telling me how much joy the images of me bring him. I'm getting much better at saying F you to the 3D. I figure I'm not even going to add. That's perfect. Not lurking, not checking, and catching myself when fear comes up. You are pure divine perfection. You are the creator of your life experience. You get to have everything that you feel in your heart and soul, all of your desires. They're already created, they're already done. You were not created to suffer. You were not created to beg. You were not created to live a life where you're always chasing after something. That's not who you are. Okay. So I want to share an email that one of my clients sent to me regarding some unfolding that she's experiencing with her specific person. I also just have other things in mind that I wanted to share just in terms of supporting some of you. You can manifest anyone, yes, but I highly suggest that you develop a knowing of who you are and what reality is. So you have a deeper foundation. So you're not somebody trying to manifest something, but instead you're ascending into who you truly are. Go into forgiveness, no matter what, whether you want to be with the person when all is said and done. Truly, deeply, actually love yourself unconditionally and be really consistent in all areas of your life. You want to be consistent every day of your life while you're living your life with the people that you come across at stores, people you work with. You want to be very consistent with how you see yourself, how you're treated with others. You want to be very deliberate and intentional with how you think about money. So you really want to apply this with everyone and everything. Let's say that you're in a collective where you know that your person is your true love and you know that you are their true love. But a bunch of BS came up and you're in the 3D dynamic, but the dynamic itself is wearing you down too much. A lot of people think of boundaries from a 3D dating way of thinking of setting boundaries, which can be highly manipulative. And if you believe that setting these boundaries in a highly manipulative way will work to get your person to be fearful that they're going to lose you, then yes, when you set these boundaries, you are going to be creating insecurity in your person and you will experience, probably because you believed that by doing this, this would happen, you will experience them getting closer. But the closer they get, if you don't actually go within and apply what I was sharing in the beginning of the video in terms of knowing who you are, accepting that whatever happened was a manifestation of your own, having a deep foundation of realizing your divinity, stepping into forgiveness with the person, the experience, and then yourself, and then seeing yourself and seeing them differently. This is what I teach everybody. I've been teaching you guys this for free on my free content for you guys to learn for years. So if you notice, I didn't say wake up and just say 10,000 affirmations about your specific person. A lot of people watching me right now might say, but that works. It may work for some people, but if there is a lot of stuff that you had from previously before you met your person and that stuff got projected onto your person, the closer they get to you, this little thing is going to rise up inside of you. Okay. So you do want to go deeper. Don't just do these shallow based affirmations. Go deeper if it's necessary. So sometimes when somebody's manifesting their true love and they finally go all in, which I highly suggest that you do. And by the way, I'm going to link a video over here, which is a really good video for you to watch talking about just kind of practical tips for you when you're manifesting your true love, your mirror soul, your specific person. Sometimes when somebody is going deeper and they stop doing the things, these 3D linear behaviors, like checking for the 3D, checking the social media. In other words, doing things that you wouldn't do if you were already the wife, the husband, the partner, the spouse. Uh, by the way, somebody might say, well, if I was married, I would be checking their socials, not in the way that you're doing. So you can do it in your imagination. You can, if you want to be married and it's a healthy relationship and you guys are secure with each other, you wouldn't be spying on your person. So if you wanted, if you say, well, if I was married, I would be checking their socials in your imagination. Imagine that if you really imagine that you're looking at their socials and they posted images of the two of you guys together and they're bragging about how much they're in love with you. Okay. Just don't do it in that other way. Don't ruminate on the old story. Don't keep angry and keep reliving and keep thinking of the words that were said over and over and over and over again. Revise it. Realize that it was simply part of the unfolding back then and it got you. It just got a hold of you. That's all. So go back. Sometimes people manifest their person back. They're in the unfolding of it. Something comes up. It really throws the person off because they love their person so much. And this really hurt. Let this go, recognizing that this was part of the old story and you fell for it. They stopped doing the inner work. Don't do that. Keep being consistent. If you've already, I always suggest doing revision from the past hurts. I always suggest that. I think it's a really good idea. If you're doing the inner work and then all of a sudden an ex comes back and an ex says all of the things that you want to hear from your true love, your specific person, in some cases, don't fall for that either. Sometimes with some people, they end up thinking, I think this is actually who I actually want to be with. And that's fine. But in more cases than not, this ex coming back is the very experience that was very traumatic that you have to, it's kind of showing itself. It's almost like I like to see it as a key to this is the exact experience that caused the most fear in you around a romantic relationship. I know a lot of people might say, yeah, your exes are coming back because you're glowing. You did this glow up. And in some cases, that may be the case. I do believe, though, in a lot of cases, it's what I just described. And I know that I've never heard any other content creator say this other than myself, but this is based off of personal experiences and also what I have seen happen with other clients. And this is exactly what happens. So you're doing the inner work, hopefully in a balanced and healthy way. You're going deeper into your power. You have the deep foundation of who you are, what reality is, who your true love is to you. You've done revision, you've let all these things go. You're truly loving yourself. You're truly doing things you enjoy to do in life. You're staying consistent. If you've already done revision, when the old story comes up, whether it's around love, health, money, anything, you're like, nope, nope. And no matter what, no matter, nope, nope, that's not true. Nope. So let me read this before I do. If you do love my content, please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. If you want me to be your coach to help you manifest anything related to your true love, specific person, mirror soul, email a short description to kim@coreunion.com. Go to the website, coreunion.com, book either a single session or a package. My scheduling assistant, Olga, will get back to you with my next available session after you've done that. So my client wrote this. Hey, Kim, I really hope you're doing well. I wanted to send you a little update and ask for guidance on something unexpected that came up. When we last met about 4 weeks ago, I was still very caught up in the messy middle and relying heavily on 3D validation. We talked a lot about redirecting my focus onto myself and applying the inner work more intentionally. My biggest fear was that if I stopped focusing on my mirror soul, somehow he would forget about me or nothing would happen. You gently reminded me of the illusion of separation, and that really stuck with me. At the time, I was also fixated on things I had decided should happen in the middle. I want to mention something really quickly. A lot of times, the inner work that you're doing is simply implying the romance, the dedication, the loyalty, the happiness, and the joy. When I was in a preparation stage with my mirror soul, and I was imagining a particular thing over and over and over again, I just loved it. I loved the imaginal scene in the 3D when everything unfolded. It was a million times better than what I was imagining. And then even after that, as things unfolded more, it was so much better than anything I could have even imagined. Okay. So a lot of times the inner work is just implying. It's not to say that you won't manifest it exactly, but a lot of times it's an implication. So don't get let down if things don't unfold at first the way you're imagining. Sometimes it's just the old story needing to come out. Okay. At the time, I was also fixated on things I had decided should happen in the middle. Him wishing me a happy birthday, responding about a trip we had agreed on for me to visit him in August, etc. So those are things that didn't happen the way she wanted it to. When those things didn't happen and I was getting hot and cold behavior, I kept pushing on the 3D for reassurance. And she really was. She was pushing on it a lot. She was holding on to seeking for evidence way too much. It took me a couple of weeks to really step back and recognize how much of my attention I had been outsourcing to my mirror soul. What he was doing, in other words, what he was doing, what he thought, whether he was watching my stories, liking my posts, etc. Even when I stopped checking his socials directly, I realized I was still watching him by looking for that other evidence that he was watching me. I was essentially asking the 3D to tell me whether I was important instead of deciding and realizing that I was. I've been slowly dismantling that, catching those tiny automated choices and returning my focus back to myself. I did successfully manifest a different trip a couple of weeks ago for my artwork and even manifested getting upgraded to first class. Before leaving, I decided my trip was genuinely going to be about my enjoyment. It also happened to be my mirror soul's favorite place, but rather than feeling like I needed to contact him or use the trip to get his attention, I let myself imagine whatever I wanted and then went fully into experiencing it for myself. See, this is such a big key because she allowed herself to experience in her imagination how she would like for it to be, but then she allowed herself to be fully present in her life in the moment. This is actually massive. Okay. I posted things because I genuinely loved them without checking whether he was engaging with them or not. Interestingly, 2 days into the trip, he started appearing and even liking my posts, which hadn't happened in months. I didn't treat it as a breadcrumb or something I needed to chase. I just thought, of course, and kept going. After I got home, I continued posting things I genuinely love, not overthinking it. I posted a video on my business page doing something I enjoyed, and the next morning he messaged me reacting to the silly part. I sent another silly picture in response, and within minutes he was asking for more and telling me how much joy the images of me bring him. This was after barely any responses, a couple of weeks of silence, and not reaching out on his own since May. It led to some more compliments on my artwork and a short exchange. It only happened a few days ago, so I'm still learning how to navigate the aftermath without analyzing the interaction, counting time, wondering whether I was warm or engaging enough, or turning it into another source of 3D validation. I'm intentionally taking a slower approach this time and practicing going right back to the end. That is pure perfection. Amazing job. Overall, I actually feel like something has shifted. I'm getting much better at saying F you to the 3D. I figured I'm not even going to add. That's perfect. Not lurking, not checking, and catching myself when fear comes up. I'm beginning to understand what it actually means to trust my imagination rather than constantly looking for confirmation. And that's it. Excuse me. And that it's okay to have ups and downs without fearing that I've somehow undone everything. First of all, you can't undo something that's already created. but you can keep yourself in a place that you're not really going to enjoy if you don't pull yourself out. Okay. So a few days after that exchange with my Marisol, my closest friend called because she needed support. I found out that her long-term partner, who's currently away on military duty, had been having an affair. Without getting too much into the details, he stepped out of their relationship. So I'm just going to stop there because I'm going to give her and a lot of you guys some advice. She went on to say how the friend basically was betrayed by her long-term partner when he was away on military. So now my client's concern is how can I be there for her and not put myself in a place where it's going to be triggering for me? And especially because this man, this this man with my friend, there was something several years back when my client was younger that happened with this particular couple. And that was something that made a deep impression on her earlier in her life before she met her mirror soul. So this is two things I want to share with this. Number one, to my client, because I know you're watching, you want to go back and do some revision back when this first happened with your friend's partner, and he betrayed her back then. You go back and you do a form of revision where you take all the power that you know of who you are now, you experience yourself hearing it, what happened, and you're there with yourself, literally. It's like you shift from being that version of you into this version of you, but you're back in space and time when that happened. Okay, because remember, we only have the now moment. Okay, so your brain thinks that this is getting the reassurance now. First experience hearing that your friend got betrayed, shift into the perspective of being the version of you now with that older version of you, that younger version of you then, and give that younger version of you the power that you know now, and tell that younger version of you, this has nothing to do with you and your relationships. Relationships are loving, natural, easy, and safe. It's safe to love and to be loved. Men are consistent, reliable, and dependable. Okay. So you tell that that's a form of revision I would do with yourself. So for my client and for all of you, that is a form of revision that I do sometimes. As far as boundaries in the 3D with people who are experiencing things that are triggering for you while you're manifesting the things that you want. Number one, the best thing that you can actually do for your friend when you see your friend hurting is to actually see her as happy, whole, complete, that she's let go of this and that she's happy, confident, secure in a healthy, loving relationship with her true love. That is number one, the best thing to do. So if it's somebody who you truly love in your life and they matter to you and they experience something that's hard, the absolute best thing you can do, if they're insecure, see them as secure. If they're sick, see them as healthy. If they're sad, see them as that they've gotten past it. Okay, so this is the best thing. If they're hurting financially, see that they got a wonderful opportunity. They got promoted. They won a ton of money. So this is what you want to do with the people in your life who you care about, who matter to you. A healthy relationship, which is what you want to have with everybody in your life, doesn't equate to you being her therapist. So be loving with her, have healthy boundaries. Like, in other words, be that for her. And then maybe, tell her that you love her and that everything is going to be okay, and that she should take the time to turn within, give herself love, and to let this go. And maybe suggest that she goes to see somebody who she trusts, that she can get it out. Because if you tell her this early on, she'll realize the boundary. No matter what happens in the 3D, the best thing that you can do is see her differently, because then you're choosing and shifting into a reality where she got past this. So affirm down below, I've received this message. I know that me and my true love. We're created to love each other. Our relationship and our life together is everything we've always wanted it to be. I want you to fill in specifically something that you want to manifest specifically with them. If you need me, just reach out. I intend that this video helped. Bye.